selling marketing. You're selling it to painting companies, and you got 100 plus leads over an X amount of period. You called everybody and nobody had money for marketing. That doesn't surprise me, right? Nobody has money for sales coaching. Yet here you all are, right? Sure. Here's the thing. I would lead when I'm calling them back with an insight, right? And maybe that insight could be, if I was just going to pull something out of thin air and grab it, is, hey, I just wanted to make you sure that you're aware of something that's going on, and especially in the residential painting side of things, and then especially as we're kind of in between seasons here. Yeah, can you give me a call on my mobile? Blah blah blah. Give them your phone. When they call you back, yeah, I want to talk to you about the race to the bottom. Right here's what every painting company is having to deal with. Nobody's talking about it. Okay, it messes with your head, and I love you. I love the industry. I want to make sure I can help you whether you're a client or not. Something that ends up happening, and it's nearly impossible to avoid, when you do not have a really strong pipeline of leads. And by strong pipeline of leads, okay, I want to be crystal clear at what I mean here. What I mean is when somebody cancels a job, when somebody has to move a job, when a job doesn't go off that you thought was going to happen, you're like, good, because I didn't even know how we were going to get through all this stuff in the first place, right? This is nice. I can have my team home before 9:30 at night. If you're not at that point, what ends up happening is you have such a limited amount of leads that you create this little race to the bottom where you feel so much pressure to close those that you actually negotiate against yourself. And the minute that prospect, the minute that customer, that minute that client does or moves or says or twitches in any sort of way that you think you're not going to get the job, you drop your price. Okay, right. I just want to make sure that you're aware of this. This is what takes painting companies completely out of business. Okay, if you'd like to talk about filling up the pipeline and getting those leads so that you can have that confidence, the money, what we've seen is the money for these ad campaigns doesn't even come out of budget. It comes out of what you would have spent discounting on your deals. If you simply didn't have to discount, you could pay for advertising. If you have the right advertising in place, you'll never have to discount because you'll have so many leads that literally if one of them cancels or one of them says, I found it cheaper someplace else, you're going to say, good, hey, I'll be here if you need to repaint or they don't get it, to your specifications. Fair enough? That would be kind of the talk track that I would go in there. You have to realize you're in a situation here, especially with marketing. You have to realize, no, and by the way, none of us need our stuff, okay? Even Danielle that's in logistics, I guess they could say they could move it themselves. I don't know. I mean, it's really ridiculous to think about, moving that yourself, but people think that way, right? We have to get their attention. And we have to talk about stories that have them go, man, he's got a point there, right? Yeah. I don't have any money for advertising. I'm only talking to 4 people. I've already dropped my price on all 4 of those deals, and 3 of them still haven't bought yet. Right. The answer is a death spiral, right? A race to the bottom. I'm going to have to keep dropping my price to try and close those deals to keep my team working, okay? Sometimes even
they lose guys too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, if I can't keep my guys working, my guys are gone.
Yeah, because that's one of the biggest things in this industry is finding good guys because it's hard to do it. So,
yeah, and you need to have a conversation like that, but then you have to realize that the objection is coming of, I don't have the money for advertising. You need to get ahead of that by saying, nobody has the money for advertising. The little secret that the top companies are sharing amongst themselves, and they don't want you to know this, is if you can get so many leads that if every single one of those jobs closed, you wouldn't have enough guys to complete the jobs, that's where you can present a more confident price because you're not scared of losing it. And that margin that you save in the discount pays for the advertising. It becomes this weird machine of invest a little bit in advertising, don't have to discount, full jobs, giving me more profits to once I can hire more people, I can invest more in advertising. Now it's a spiral upwards versus a spiral downwards. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys are clear on that. if you're in a situation where you're like, I don't have money for advertising, that's an indicator that the business is probably spiraling in a downward direction, right? And that leads to, you're going to go with a smaller crew, and then you're going to spiral a little bit more, and now you're just going to start doing the jobs themselves. And now I mean, I hate to get negative here, Anthony, you've seen this in your career. You know what happens then? I'm going to work for somebody else just to supplement, to pay the bills, and I'll get my company off the ground later. And that's the graveyard that painting businesses go to die. You have to have that conversation with them. By the way, I didn't make anything up there. That's exactly how it happens.
It's real world.
Yeah. And that's where you need to call because you're calling all these leads and going, hey, I want to tell you about our advertising. And they're going, I don't have any money for advertising. Click. Right. You need to talk to them about the death spiral, the race to the bottom, and the graveyard where painting companies go to die. Because it happens. I see JV there, Jason, right? He's in logistics. Ton of companies in logistics, exact same thing happens. I'm going to start my own moving company. I don't have any leads. Now I can't justify this. Then eventually I'm going to sell my truck because I'll just lease a truck when I get jobs. And I'm going to go work for somebody else. I'm going to go back to my old job. Yeah. That's the conversation you need to have.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because all these guys have just done word of mouth. Like that's the only way they've ever gotten business, it seems like, which. And
I would even steer clear of that because I could give a crap whether they're doing word of mouth, whether they're doing advertising right now. And I would focus on anybody that says that I don't have budget for advertising or more advertising or to try a new piece of advertising. That is an indicator, that is a symptom of a more serious problem. And the more serious problem is they don't have enough jobs to where they can walk away from jobs that are asking them to discount. And if you are too afraid to walk away from a job that's asking you to drop your price, you are naturally in a spiral in the down direction. If you are in a position where you have so many leads where you do not have to discount anything, knowing that X percentage are going to go, wow, that's too expensive, your business is now moving in a upwards trajectory because now you can just hire more people and get more advertising. But by reducing our margins has never been good for any company ever. Unless there's some sort of technology like a painting robot that has allowed economies of scale, which there's not right now yet. These are the conversations that you need to have.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
John,
Saturdays are okay for making calls? Sorry.
Hell yeah. Okay. What's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah, don't call me on Saturday. And you're going to put a label on it. Sounds like I shouldn't have called you on Saturday. Let me email you over my stuff. Anything comes up over the weekend, if you do want to talk, I'm here for you 100%. If not, I'll give you a call Monday if I haven't heard from you before then. Fair enough, right? But, if you got to make the deals, if you need to close business, yes, Saturday's just fine.